Hello, my name is Randy Rolfe, and I'm an independent consultant with the Nikken company. And this is a product showcase, which we do live every Thursday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern and 8 a.m. Pacific. And this is by independent consultants, not a corporate event, that we share our stories of our experiences with the amazing Nikken technologies. So I'm going to share PowerPoint to start off and get an overview of Nikken, and then we're going to share some of our stories, especially with our special guest. So let me get my show up and going here. So Nikken, N-I-K-K-E-N, is about discovering active wellness and living a life in balance. And from the very beginning, founded in Japan over 40 years ago, and now doing business in over 20 countries, Nikken has always had this focus of active wellness and life in balance. And I fell in love with it 20 years ago when I discovered it. I was doing family counseling. I'd been a lawyer, and we had actually bought an old farmhouse in upstate New York. And when we rewired it, we minimized the wiring because I had been studying natural health for a while already. And we wanted to minimize the impact of having an electrified home on our health. And I learned even more about the dangers of that when, as young lawyers, we helped the farmers and Indians in the area fight the placement of an ultra-high voltage transmission line across their land. And so we heard legal testimony about the effects of these high voltage transmission lines going across the land, because there were some of these up in Canada, and the statistics were frightening that the closer the people lived to these lines, the more cancer there was, and the cows were infertile or had two-headed calves. The plants were disturbed, the agricultural products were disturbed. We saw pictures of 14-inch wide dandelions because the DNA had been shifted. So I was very aware of the dangers not only of modern toxic chemical pollutants, but also energy pollution from our electromagnetic world. And so when I discovered Nikken, I just was so excited that this brilliant visionary in Japan had gotten together with engineers and bioengineers to figure out how to create a microenvironment to have our bodies be more in a healthier, balanced energy field. So I just jumped into Nikken right away and never looked back. It's been amazing for our family. Everybody got better, and we didn't even have any complaints. So it was amazing. We slept better, we had more energy, we healed faster when we hurt ourselves, all those kinds of things. And so I knew that as a business, if it could make me feel better when I didn't even have any complaints, I knew it could help people who were really had some serious chronic conditions. And it did change my husband's life. He had asthma as a child, and he didn't sleep well because he always breathed through his mouth. And after a month on the Nikken sleep system, the mattress topper and the pillow and the comforter, he woke up breathing through his nose, first time in his life. So that made him quiet in bed, which was great for me, but it also made him a much healthier person because the nose is a filter and the mouth doesn't filter the same way. So he got fewer colds, and in fact, neither of us has had a cold in 20 years now. So it's really the compounding effect, the daily choices we make to get the sleep we need, to get the exercise we need, to get the nutrition we need, to breathe carefully, to drink the water we need. Those choices add up to whether we're succumbing to the stresses of our life or becoming humans being more, which is the motto of the company. And these small choices made consistently over time make a radical difference in our income, health, relationships, happiness, and success. So it's that compounding effect. And I love these slides. The health condition that Nikken is functioning in is worse than it was 20 years ago. Our body burden has increased. There's thousands and thousands of chemicals that we're all exposed to, even if we're careful to keep them out of our homes. They're in the air, in the water, in our food, in the packaging, in our carpets, in our curtains, in our furniture, in children's sleepwear. It's truly amazing what we're exposed to. And all of these add up to stress, besides the financial stress, emotional stress, and so on. And stress is the silent killer. It's involved in every chronic disease, and it impacts heart disease, diabetes, cancer, stroke, anxiety, depression, fatigue, allergies, sleep, weight problems, and so on. If you can do anything to lighten your stress, it makes a difference, and these products can do that. 70% of Americans have sleep issues. One poor night's sleep drops your immune system by 60%, and it also, poor sleep interferes with memory and the learning process and laying down learning. So sleep is when the body repairs itself. So if we're not getting a deep restorative sleep, we're not repairing as well as we could. Air and water pollution, they're in the headlines every day. 7 million premature deaths annually are linked to air pollution by the World Health Organization. And in modern American homes, the indoor air can be way worse than outdoor air, again, because of all the chemicals we bring into our homes. 260 contaminants have been found in tap water, and bottled water has many thousands as well. Bottled water, it tastes better than tap water because they take the chlorine out, but it still has all the other stuff in it. And now most cities now have admitted they have extra lead, just like the Flint, Michigan incident, and all kinds of other things, including endocrine disruptors that come from pesticides and plastics, and they can really mess with our mind and our health. Of course, the children suffer the most. Today, many children never even get off to a decent start because the nutrition and the food most people eat is deficient in nutrients, and the toxins interfere with healthy metabolism. Obesity is an epidemic, and over a third of our country is not just overweight, but obese, which is really frightening, and that affects the kids. I mean, they're kids who don't know what it feels like to just run and jump and climb a tree without having a whole lot of extra weight to deal with. And less than half of adolescents get the needed amount of vegetables, studies show. Only 27% of high schoolers get the kind of physical activity that's recommended for a healthy high schooler. And of course, low-income families have it worse than anybody. And so what is the answer? It's about being healthy by choice, not by chance. And it's, again, choosing active wellness and being more rather than being succumbed to stress and just relying on chance to stay healthy, because the statistics just aren't good. So we try to learn what it takes to be healthy, and Nikken literally makes it easy. Nikken is the only major company with a comprehensive, holistic approach to balanced living. And my husband and I are both lawyers, so of course we checked into Nikken when we got involved, and it's an amazing company. And like I said, it's the only company that has research and development for total wellness, helping the body stay healthy, not just manipulating through this medication and that medication, but actually keeping us healthy and helping the body heal itself. So Nikken's philosophy is based on the 5 pillars of health that the founder established. Living a life in balance requires balance among body and mind and family and society and finances. And it's such a powerful philosophy because if any of these is weak, all the others suffer. And when we gave up high-powered law practice, we thought we'd kind of sacrifice the big money, but we didn't want to sacrifice time with family, our physical health, and being around positive people. In law practice, it's not always such a positive environment. And the long hours weaken your pillar for the body and the family. So, and then to be able to contribute to society by helping people be healthier is wonderful as well. So the Nikken advantage is all about creating an environment in your home and around your body that keeps you in a more calm, relaxed, de-stressed state. And Nikken started out with the magnetic products to put our bodies as much as possible back into the natural magnetic field, getting away from electromagnetism and Wi-Fi, to help at the cellular level to improve the energy fields for the body. And then they developed insoles first, and then a sleep pad, and then a wonderful line of nutritionals and water and air, so kind of covering all the vital needs of the body. And we put our product line, there's over 100 products, but they're all designed to support the body in what it knows how to do best, and that is to heal and keep us healthy. So the three categories, I'm going to start on the right of the screen because that's the core signature line of Nikken from the start, is the magnetic technologies. And there are many technologies bound up with this magnetism. It's they're patented designs, and there's bioceramics as well, so that makes all that relaxation and de-stressing even more effective. And the picture you see, there's the insoles. There's also the wonderful MagFlex, which is a square that is designed for the lower back, but you can put it anywhere: a shoulder, a chest, tummy cramps, breathing problems. This we were talking about just before we started the recording. And then this little pile of things, the sleep system, is the core of our product line, and it's absolutely amazing. These products are all in their fourth evolution. Nikken's always improving in its technologies and patenting them. And let's see, I have to get rid of this little thing. Then in the environment, the water is absolutely essential. We respond better to everything if we're fully hydrated with quality water. And the Nikken water system requires no electricity. It's gravity feed. It has a very fine carbon filter, like any really fine filter, and also has a resin filter. And then it adds alkalizing minerals and bioceramic technology and magnetism, so that the molecules of water are actually made more bioavailable to our cells. And it feels wonderful. You're fully hydrated, tastes great, and people who don't even drink water will start drinking this water because it just tastes and feels so good. Then there's an air system that purifies as well as any other system, and then also helps the air be more breathable. So it's an amazing unit. And then the light is a full spectrum light with extra blue, so that helps with our sleep and wake cycles. And we have a shower system that creates that same Nikken Pi water. It's good for the skin and the hair, and you're not breathing chlorine in your shower. The nutritional line is second to none. I was very excited about that. I'm a certified nutritionist. I've been teaching it for 40 years. And was extremely excited that Nikken is at the cutting edge in all its nutritional line, organic based, and have absolutely unique products like the Osteodense that's pictured here, that uses the immune factor complex lactoferrin molecule from mother's milk to help build and maintain bones. And we have a lactoferrin for digestion as well. Absolutely amazing. Our antioxidant drink is second to none. It's only juices, no preservatives, colors, flavorings, waters, sugars, or anything. And a full line of nutritionals, all to support the body. Nothing's megadosed, which is really important, because you can go into a health food store and get too much of this, and then you get out of balance with something else. Everything's beautifully balanced with whole foods wherever possible. And then our skincare is eco-certified, so that's really, really fine. And hello, it's not moving. Let me just get this going here. And I want to mention our everyday organic-based weight management program, because obesity is such a huge problem for our society, and there's so many diet systems out there. We're very proud of Nikken's full plan, because it cleanses, rebalances, and energizes while your body's burning off excess fat and removing the toxins that are buried in excess fat, and keeping your energy level and your mood level balanced. So it's an easy program to follow, great snacks, cleansing, digesting, and energy. It's all wrapped into one with an amazing meal replacement powder. That's the only one I've ever been able to recommend, because there's nothing in there you don't want, and it actually feeds the brain so that you lose cravings for carbohydrates and sugar and pasta and bread, that kind of thing. So it's truly amazing, and it's affordable. It's quite wonderful. So now I'm going to talk with our special guest and introduce Mrs. Kramer. She's just by phone. We can't see her, but she's a lovely lady, and happy to have her as our guest today on our product showcase. So Mrs. Kramer, if you unmute yourself, and if you could begin, are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, good, okay. So if you could tell us what caught your attention initially with Nikken.
Okay, well, let me back up, if you don't mind, a little bit before that.
Sure.
Thank you, first of all, for inviting me to be your guest on the show today. And I will back up to my high school years, when I decided at some point that I wanted to be a doctor. And so I was in pre-med, and I wound up getting an MRS instead of an MD. MRS meaning Mrs. I got married, and then I got a PhD, which was put hubby through. So eventually, I did not get an MD, but I did work in laboratories of one kind or another, starting out in pure research laboratory with the Nobel Prize winner, Dr. Willard Libby. I don't even know if he's still alive, but he was at the time at UCLA. And then we transferred to UCSD, and I started to work in pure research there in oceanography, biological oceanography. So I had a background in the laboratory, and then I went into pharmaceutical quality control for a short period of time. And that was an interesting experience as well. I won't go into details there, but fast forward around 50-something years, I guess. And I was at that time, about 6 years ago, in a little more than 6 years ago now, I was in Israel, and I received an email from someone who was looking for people who would like to make some extra money on the side. And I was familiar with that particular distribution system, and I understood exactly what he was talking about before I even contacted him. So to make a long story short, Mr. Kari Yitzchak Glickstein introduced me to the Nikken business. Within approximately a month, I had my Nikken Wellness Home, and approximately 2 months later, as I was preparing to get on an airplane to go to the celebration of my new grandson in New York, I wound up in the hospital with a severely crushed arm under the elbow, the right arm under the elbow, crushed into many pieces, and my left leg was also broken. And needless to say, I didn't get on the airplane. But I didn't understand the extent of the damage, because I was saying, well, let's hurry up and get it, get the brake put back together so I can get on the airplane. And this was like, 2 hours before I was supposed to be to the airport. Needless to say, I was in the hospital for about 2.5 weeks. And then I went from there to to rehab. But in the hospital, my son managed to bring to me my blanket and my pillow and my Kinko seat, the seat that goes in the chair, and my insoles I had in my shoes anyway, and my at the time it was a Mag Boy, and he couldn't find my sleep mask, but I managed to put some little tiny magnets that we called then the power patches, and I put them in a hexagonal configuration inside of a long stocking, which I put around my head over my eyes at night to sleep, made myself a sleep mask. And in the daytime, I wrapped it around my arm. So I had that magnetic, the energy helping my arm to heal in the daytime. And I was going up and down on my arm all day. Didn't have much else to do with the Mag Boy. And then when I could finally get into the wheelchair, after about, I guess after about a week, maybe a week and a half, I would put the Kinko seat, the magnetic seat, in the wheelchair in the daytime and in the bed at night. So we went back and forth like this. And at one point, they came in and they wanted to give me an injection of, I don't remember the name of the thing, but it was supposedly to prevent thrombosis. And I told them that I felt that because of the energy, the natural energies, and our being able to harness these energies with our amazing technology, that I didn't want to have that injection. And they didn't like that idea, of course, and I had to sign a waiver, in order to prevent having that injection. But I was happy to do that. And then I went to the rehab facility where I took all my stuff, and my son then brought my mattress topper to the rehab place, and I was doing this same routine all day. And one of the doctors there, a very good Russian doctor, noticed what I was doing, and she says, "Where do you get these things? This is very interesting." And this was while Nikken was still in Israel. And because we were getting ready for Passover, and I didn't want to stay in the hospital over Passover, I checked myself out, and I intended to go back for inpatient during the holidays. I mean, outpatient during the holidays, and they didn't like that idea. So I said, "Okay, I'm out of here." So I left, and I didn't take advantage of that opportunity to speak with the doctor more about that. The communication was a little bit of a problem because she wasn't as fluent in English as I would have been comfortable to go into. But after, I did have to have another surgery to remove the titanium pins from my arm and my leg after about a year. And the doctors were amazed at how well and how rapidly I had recovered from that quite severe trauma. And I attribute it to the condition in which our technologies with this natural energy put my body into into the condition that we were all created to be able, the body to be able to heal itself. The same creator that put these energies into creation said, "I am the Lord, your healer." And so I really believe that. And so we have all of these things from the very beginning. We have all of these things, the energies and the foods, the vegetation, and everything that we need to be healthy. And it's true that those choices that we make every day, little choices that may seem so insignificant, do eventually make a difference. And what else? I guess that's it. I basically I love my Nikken Wellness Home, and the technologies that are available. That same creator also gave our brains the capacity to find these technologies when we need them the most. Because years ago, we didn't really need this so much because we weren't faced with the same environmental pollution that we have today. We lived an entirely different kind of life at that time, that many years ago. But today we need it, and he created for us everything that we need from the very beginning. It's been there, so there we are. That's all.
Thank you, Mrs. Kramer. That was wonderful, wonderful story, and you expressed it so well. Somebody's got some music going. I'm going to try to mute them.
Sounds like somebody's alarm. I turned off mine. I remember to turn off all of mine.
Okay, I think I stopped it. Yes, well, I love what you said about the that nature provides, except for the kind of trauma you went through, where you did need doctor's intervention for a while, but the body does so much, and it does come from nature. And Nikken has been researching natural health for 40 years, while Western medicine has been focused on fixing things or resolving symptoms that come from chronic conditions, but not getting to the heart of the cause. And that fast healing that so many of us have experienced with Nikken technologies is just because of the natural energies and nutrition and water and air that are helping support the body to heal while we're doing whatever else, you know, putting in the pins and taking them out and that kind of thing.
But by the way, Randy, I think that the interventions that were necessary in that situation, the technical interventions, were also given by the creator. You know, the fact that we were able at that point in time, or whenever these inventions were made, though the resources to create those discoveries and make those inventions were already there.
That's a great point. It's not either or. We're given minds to be able to find these modern solutions too, the medical solutions, but we should
when we need them, exactly when we need them. Yeah.
It's not an either or situation. We're blessed with all of it. But we each have to make our choices and do what we can do while the doctors are working on what they can do for us. So I really appreciate you sharing your story. And does anybody have any questions for Mrs. Kramer regarding the product technologies? We don't make any medical claims, and we don't cure or treat any diagnoses or anything. We're all about using enhancing natural forces to support wellness.
It sounds like she did just fine without that injection.
Oh yes.
Very true, and that's an example of one of those things that the medical world does to try to minimize risks. But if we really support the body, then we're doing preventive medicine without chemical medicine.
And by the way, it is our choice to refuse things that we know can be harmful for us.
Yes, that's where the active wellness and self-care comes in. You know yourself best, and you make those choices. We can't delegate our own health 100% to outsiders who are working with the statistical likelihoods rather than knowing us as well as we know ourselves. So self-care is where it all starts, and Nikken's the one-stop shop for that. So I really want to thank you, Mrs. Kramer, and I'm going to share a couple more slides just to round out our presentation here. So ask yourself if what you're doing today is getting you closer to where you want to be tomorrow, or if you keep doing the same things you're doing today, what will your 5 pillars look like in 5 years? Mind, body, family, society, finances. Nikken can help you with all these things. We're focusing on our amazing technologies, which makes Nikken unique, but we also have an amazing business plan that a lot of us have adopted because we love sharing this, and why not get some paid for sharing what we know really works. But we invite you to become a customer and start anywhere you want with the little mag duos that Mrs. Kramer was talking about, that she rolled on her injured arm, or the insoles or the water system, whatever catches your fancy, and just start with that self-care and Nikken support. And then when you find how wonderful these things are and you start sharing with your family and friends, we invite you to become a part-time entrepreneur working from home, tax deductions at least for a home-based business. And then many of us have decided to make it a full-time career, although you can do it in part-time hours, but you can get a full-time income if you really work at it like any other successful business. But you work with others collaboratively to support your success. But there are other calls all week that you can check with, and so get with whoever recommended you to this video, and they'll show you how to connect with the Nikken products and even the business opportunity if you so choose. So thank you for joining us today, and this will be recorded, so you can contact me if you want a copy, or it may be posted other places, you never know. But thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Mrs. Kramer, for your stories, and thank you all for attending.
Thank you, Randy.
Thank you, Randy.
You're welcome. Have a great week.
Peace.
Thank you, Randy.
Thank you.
Great.